like a Hellcat.
And today, I'm sorry for the glitching. If it glitches, comment down below.
When I was 16 years old, that was when I met my first boyfriend. His name was Aiden. So I met Aiden in school, and we were assigned to be chemistry. Hit it off, and I thought he was a pretty great guy based on everything we talked about, and we hung around a lot. But sometimes I felt like our relationship was moving a little too fast for me. I came from a very strict Catholic family, so we weren't allowed to do anything intimate or serious until after marriage, which Aiden didn't agree with. Aiden always pressured me to do things I didn't want to. One time we were just sitting around watching TV on my bed while my parents were at work. And I asked him, "Hey, do you want something to eat or drink? Or maybe we could watch another movie because this one's kind of boring." Aiden kind of took the remote and he turned the TV off and he started telling me things that I didn't want to hear, and I just asked him, "Please stop, I'm not ready to do this." Aiden got kind of mad and he said he would leave me if I didn't do what he wanted me to do.
That.
So I was faced with a choice that I would regret for the rest of
Just
my
tell
life.
him no. Jeez.
I ended up doing something that I regret with him. Fast forward over a month and a half later maybe, I started feeling different. I was craving a lot of different foods that I usually wouldn't eat, and then I always needed to pee, and sometimes I feel kind of nauseous. And I remember that when I started getting nauseous and more nauseous, I started throwing up every day. I told my best friend, Lily, and she looked at me and she said, "Have you done anything lately?" And I asked, "What do you mean?" And then I remembered that night. I was like, yes I did. And we went to the pharmacy and we got a pregnancy test, and I took the test. It came positive, and I remember when it came positive, Lily just held me there as I cried. I went through a lot after that day. I was kicked out of my house because I was pregnant. But I learned quite a lesson that you should never be taken advantage of. You should never be pressured in doing anything you don't want to. Today I have my daughter. She is 3 years old, and I don't regret having her, but I do regret having her at the time I did. It was much more difficult for me. And right now I am working to get back to school. And always remember, don't do things unless you want to.
Yeah, I'll be right back with another one. So this is another one that it's my favorite because it's funny. Let's get to it.
One day when I was in 3rd grade, I decided to sign up to play the viola. Yeah, big mistake. I ended up hating playing that thing. It was uncomfortable, and I hated reading the notes. But at that time, my teacher was nice enough, except for when she would yell at me for not cutting my naturally long nails, which I get was annoying for her because in order to sound good, I needed to have short nails. But I really couldn't give a flying cockadoodle pickle about all this viola stuff. So I really wanted to quit, but my mom wouldn't let me for 2 years because she thought I'd be the next Beethoven or something. But in 5th grade, she finally let me. Fast forward to about 8th grade. In my tech class, I had to sit next to some girl who really didn't like me for some reason. Like, she made a poem about me saying, if a brick smacked Jess in the face, the world would be a better place. So some crazy little Shakespeare chick who either wants me dead or wants my face to be as flat as a pancake is sitting next to me. Great. So I was just minding my own business when this snobby McSnobster turns to me and goes, "Hey Jess, why don't you tell everyone why you quit viola?" Because it made me so stressed. I wanted to break it into itty bitty pieces and then strangle myself with its strings until I was unconscious and blue. Why? Yeah, right. You sure it's not because you didn't want to cut your nails? Then that's when my eyes widened. Where did you get that false information? Oh, I asked some girl about you and she told me that. Well, I hate to break it to you, honey, but your friend is a liar. Well, actually, the teacher told her class. How pathetic. And blah, 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 blah. I just kind of zoned this chick out at this point. I was stunned that some 30-something-old teacher would pollute some kid's mind with some stupid lie about another student. I needed to know exactly what this teacher said about me, so I asked some of my old fella viola buddies, and going by what they said, this is what happened. Some girl said, "Hey, why isn't Jess here? Did she quit or something?" And instead of saying something along the lines of, "Oh, well, that's her private business," this salty teacher told her whole class, "Oh, the reason Jess quit is because she couldn't cut her nails." So some kids went, "Ooh, exposed."
Yeah, you should not
Others
do that.
laughed like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, quitter, yeah, 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 yeah." I was mortified that 10-year-old me and my long fingernails made a negative appearance with my name in her class. Like, lady, you are 30. Your school gossiping days are over. At first, I was offended, but then I realized I'm not the 30-year-old wazzbag in this situation gossiping about 10-year-olds. But now I just wish I could go back to my elementary school and suck up enough courage and confront her and say, "Hey, I don't appreciate your grown butt spreading a lie about my 10-year-old self and my fingernail length," and then watch the color drain out of her face.
So that's a lesson that you should learn. I'll be back with another one. So guys, this is not technically Storybooth. I just found this and it looks really cool. Let's try it. And it's scary, by the way.
It was a typical boring day in calculus, only it was Friday, 7th period, meaning the week was almost over and spring break would finally be upon us. So everybody was getting antsy in their seats, I could tell. We didn't have a test that day like a lot of my friends did with their other teachers. So our teacher in the middle of class just decided to start playing games with us on Sporkle.com. He was a very laid-back teacher like that. As we were doing some brand logo quiz on Sporkle, I remember the exact moment it happened. Right after my friend answered a question, I remember the exact answer too, Adidas. The dean's voice came through the loudspeaker. He sounded panicked and frantic as he told all the teachers this was not a drill and to go into lockdown. I actually got the chills and I got goosebumps on my arms as our usually laid-back teacher too seemed panicked as he ran to turn off the lights and ushered us to the back corner of the room. We all sat in silence for about 2 minutes, and then the usual buzzing that came from a panel in the back of the room ceased, indicating that the school must have cut all the power. We all looked at each other, realizing this must be serious. A few more minutes of waiting later, we heard a man screaming at the top of his lungs coming down the hallway. 2 girls in the class actually started crying, which made all of us even more scared. As the screaming got closer to the classroom, the lunatic-sounding man started banging on the lockers while screaming, "I'll kill all of you." It was at that moment that I started to fear for my life. My teacher shushed us as we all looked at each other to see our peers' reactions. The banging then moved from the lockers to our classroom door. And that's when one of the crying girls screamed no. The banging on the door only grew worse as the man started screaming, "Open up." 2 of the girls in the class were crying out loud now. It felt like an eternity that man was pounding at the door. But eventually, he finally continued down the hallway, screaming like a mentally insane person until we could not hear him anymore. I'd say 10 minutes later, though it felt like half an hour given the situation, the dean came back on the loudspeaker explaining the situation, which was surprising for him to do. He explained that some apparently mentally unstable person entered the building and assaulted the woman sitting at the front desk, causing her to flee the building screaming, and staff wasn't sure if the man was armed or not. Now, this was before the school had cameras or could afford proper security, so the school was wide open to something like this happening. The staff had done a sweep of all the hallways and classrooms and couldn't find him, so the dean instructed the teachers to resume teaching but to keep all the doors locked and to not let any students leave for any reasons. The most disturbing part, however, is that one of the janitors working the night shift found the man sleeping in one of the storage closets near the back end of the school, and according to rumors that were spread by my peers, sticking out of his pocket was a .44 Magnum. The janitor must have done something stupid to wake him up, for example, leaving the closet door open, because by the time a police officer could arrive on the scene, the man was gone. My entire class, as far as I know, to this day, has no idea if this man was ever found, but I like to think that right now, he is being given the proper help that he needs.
No. My school, oh my god, we never had a lockdown ever. And we had practice lockdowns. Oh my god, that's just, No. Oh my god. Oh my god. That just creeps me out. Okay, I'm gonna put on the outro. I'll see you guys on the outro.